All right, ladies, good morning.
Morning,
Good
sir.
morning, sir.
All right. Got it. All right, so what we're going to do, ladies, to start today's class, we're going to go through the first quiz, and then we're going to look at the long-term causes of the Second World War, the First World War, sorry. All right, ladies, first, we have 25 questions. McCoy, first one.
Repeat, sir.
The first part. Read the first question for me, please.
The place where a war is waged is called a fighting front.
All right. Marshall, do you agree?
Yes, sir.
All right. So it's a fighting front. Let us see. I need to see the other one that I can have the answers. All right. So fighting front is correct. All right, so fighting front is the answer. Let us see now. After McCoy Collins, second one for me, please. Daniel, you're here?
Sir, what did you say?
Read the second question.
Oh, during a blank, the national state takes control over trade.
During a what? What's the answer?
I don't remember what I put for this, I think it's Civil War.
Civil War. During a civil war, the nation state take control over the state. Bows, Shani,
Yes, sir.
which
Sir,
one
I
you
put
have?
some put total war.
Total war, that is correct. Yes, during a total war, the nation state, a nation state is a country and it takes control over everything. It determines what goes in a country, what leave. All right. Thank you very much. Williams,
Wars fought between people within the same nation state. Civil War.
Civil War. Good.
Sir Clark said to tell you that her internet isn't working.
All right. Understand. Eccleston,
Yes, sir. Oh,
this question.
Wars fought between two territories. Wars fought
Yeah.
between two territories. Limited war.
All right, very good. Davis, next one.
Which one, sir?
You're not following this one.
Oh, yeah, I can't. It's kind of blurry. I can't even see. Is that the First World War,
Mhm.
1940?
1914 to 1918 was A.
Yeah, was that a total war?
You're asking or you're telling me?
I'm telling you.
All right. Was it a total war class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Louis?
Second World War, 1939 to 1945 was a total war.
Total war. You agree with that one, Louis?
Sir, isn't me the question? Yes, I agree with myself.
Yeah, why you think it was a total war and not a civil war?
Because it included many different countries.
All right, very good. Reynolds?
The Algerian War, 1954 to 1962, was a. I'm sorry, was this a limited war? I don't remember what I put.
Anybody know about the Algerian War?
Sir,
Yes, sir. It started
go, Shani.
1954.
Go, Shanice.
I said it started 1962 and 1954 and ended 1962.
Yes. So what about it? Was it a total civil or limited?
Sir, I think it was a civil war because if I remember in my reading, it was a war. Yeah, I think it was a civil war because the people. I think it had something to do with rights and something. I read it, I
It
think
was
it
a
was a civil war.
And even though France came in,
I didn't know that France. I knew that it was the people who were fighting.
for their independence.
Yeah, yes, for the independence. I didn't know that another country got involved in the war. Wait, sir, quick question. As you mentioned France, so if you would you then classify? Wait, sir, is that civil war or limited before I ask the question?
In fact, this war started out as a civil war.
What?
And then it changed into a limited war in the end because France came and Cuba also went in to assist the Algerians.
So, sir, then would you consider let me pick one off the top of my head.
The French Revolution or
No,
Haitian Revolution?
yes, sir. Which is the one that the I can't remember right now. The Spanish did come and was fighting a little bit too. Then the British was fighting a little bit too. I'm not sure if it's the Haitian. Yes, it's the Haitian Rev. Yes, I'm right. So then would that be considered a limited war?
It would be considered a limited war.
Even though it's like it started as a civil matter?
It started out as a civil because remember, war can started out as civil and then it transformed into limited and it can become global. Everybody gets involved.
Okay, sir.
All right, this one should be easy. Eccleston.
Nigerian Civil War, 1967 to 70, was a civil war.
All right. Marshall, next one.
I don't really remember what I put for this one, but I think it's a civil war.
This one you think is a civil war?
I'm not sure what I put. It might be limited. Oh wait, it is
So-
limited. It's a limited war.
Why you think it's limited?
Because if I remember correctly, there was some intervention with like Britain coming in to it as well. So it wasn't just between like the nation itself, because Britain was also getting involved.
All right, good. Shanae, this one for you.
The Nicaragua Revolution began 1978 was a civil war.
Yes, correct.
Sir, I have a question for the Indo-Pakistan one.
You can go ahead.
It was a limited war, right?
Yeah.
But wasn't it a limited war because it's between India and Pakistan, not because of British intervention? Wouldn't that be a that wouldn't be a limited war if Britain, India, and Pakistan were involved?
Remember that in India, all right, so what we have today as India, all right, in 1947, India was controlled by Britain. It was a British colony, right?
Right.
You're with me?
Yes, sir.
So 1947, India was a British colony. Now, when Britain gave India their independence, Britain decided that they are going to divide India into 3 countries. So the 3 countries that Britain divided India in was, the 3 countries were, I should say, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So Pakistan and Bangladesh were originally part of British India. So Britain was always there. It is Britain who caused this problem. That answer your question, Collins?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it was a limited war. So not because Britain, so it was between India and Pakistan, because Pakistan decided, because Pakistan is mostly Muslims and India is predominantly Hindu. So there was a religious tension between the 2 territories. Next, let us see, Davis, you. Davis, you're here? Gabriel?
I'm here, sir. I'm here.
Answer the question.
Was
Read it
it
and answer this
a
one.
civil war, sir?
So you are not following?
Yes, I am, sir. I just went to turn on my phone, sir.
So this one, the one that I'm circling.
Yeah, I said civil war, sir.
Civil War. All right, good. Answer the next one too.
That was also a civil war.
And next, this one here.
The Iran, that was a limited war.
Limited war. Very good. Go ahead for me, Bows.
Sir, I was asking if the Chinese Civil War above was when the Chinese and the Japanese were fighting, or that's a different type of war.
It's part of it, you know. It is part of it.
Sir, but how would it be a civil war when other
It is
countries?
civil because the country, it wasn't with the Chinese, not with Japan, but a place that is called Taiwan.
Okay.
So it was one country, just like India, that was divided into 3 after the war. As a result, it led to war. China, the Chinese Civil War, you had big fighting going on in China. And at the end of the war, they had mainland China, and everybody who was against the Chinese government moved to some small islands below China, and they call themselves Taiwan. All
Okay,
right,
sir. Good.
good, good. Next one, back to Savannah Ray.
Government justified war by the use of propaganda.
Propaganda, very good. But go up a little top to the Gulf War for me. The Gulf War
Oh,
was
so I read the wrong one, sir. I'm sorry. Gulf War, 1990 to 1991, was a limited war.
It was limited.
A limited.
Yes. Good. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Eccleston, revisionism.
sir,
Who is that? Colin?
Collins. Yeah, I don't understand why Gulf War would be a limited war in that it involved many different countries.
But it wasn't on a global stage. Remember, a limited war is not only 2 countries involved in it. You can have 5 countries involved, and it is a limited war. 6 countries, and it is limited because it only concentrates around just a few countries. When it is total war, every single country is involved in the war. And so for the Gulf War, not everybody was involved.
Okay, sir. I think I got confused because the definition I saw for limited war was that it only involved maximum 2 countries.
You sure that's the definition, yes, sir?
Yes, sir. But you have clarified it for me now.
All right. Who is going with revisionism? Eccleston?
Yes, sir. Also, I wanted to add to the limited war thing. I think the book was kind of contradicting because it did say that it was 2 countries, but then it also said the only total wars they've ever been were the world wars. So in that sense, it was kind of contradicting. But yeah.
Oh.
So revisionism is to challenge existing views.
All right, very good. So revisionism is to challenge existing views. And so that's one of the reasons why we're here today. We're going to challenge existing views. Good, good. Where is Louis? Louis, war is the final phase of capitalism. Which historians argue that?
I think it's Marxist historian.
All right, good. Williams?
Sir, so why is not the capitalist historians and it's still capitalized, sir?
Capitalism?
Yes, sir.
Because Marxist historians, they criticize capitalist historians. Both of them are enemies, you know. Capitalist versus Marxist. So the Marxist historian, the capitalists say that if we trade with each other, then we will have peace. The world would be peaceful if we trade. If all of us making money, then we'll all be happy and there would be no war. But the Marxist historian would say, even though we are trading, you have greedy people within each territories, and because of greed, we're going to have fight. And because of that, capitalism is the last stage before all of us establish some form of equity or equality. So don't let the word phase of capitalism, the last phase or the last stage of capitalism. All right. Next person. Clark, your internet is good now?
Yes, sir, it's better.
All right.
The study of writing of history is historiography.
All right, good. But go to the one at top, the one at the next, this one.
Oh, which historian advanced this view? War is a result of politicians who were led by their military chiefs. Sir, I'm gonna say AJP Taylor because I don't know.
It's who?
AJP Taylor.
All right. Shanae, which one you going with?
Sir, sir, I put Michael Carton.
Michael Creighton. All right. Eccleston.
Yes, sir.
Which one is the answer?
AJP Taylor.
All right. Ladies, I'm encouraging you to read. It's 2 hours. I give you to do 10 questions, you know. It's 10 questions or 25. It's but 10.
25, sir. 10.
It's this 25 question is like 10 questions. All you had to do was use one session, read the book, and then you answer the next session. Most of you didn't read it. Some of you did, but not everybody. McCoy.
So what is the answer?
Oh, for this one, the answer is AJP Taylor.
Okay, sir.
McCoy?
Yes, sir. The answer is strategy.
All right, very good. Williams?
Course of war means the practice of the war.
You sure?
Yeah? No? Yes. Yes, I am sure.
Eccleston, is she correct?
Sir, I did not hear what she said.
She said the course of the war is the practice of the war. Do you agree with her?
Yes, sir, I agree.
Shanae?
Yes, sir, I do agree.
You agree? Shanae, take the next one for me.
Consequences of a war means impact of the war.
All right. McCoy, do you agree with her?
Wait, you can repeat, Shani?
I said the consequences of the war means the impact of the war.
That's right.
All right. So course of the war is the practice. Consequences is the impact. Collins, the last one.
Reasons for a war means the causes of the war.
All right. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, ladies. I see most of you, some of you look like you guess the answers, but it was a good exercise. Louis, you agree or you disagree?
Can I repeat that? Sorry. I agree or
Do you agree
disagree?
that it was a good exercise?
Yes, sir, because it covered everything that you taught us before, so I was able to test what we know and what you taught. So,
Sir,
yes,
will
Alright.
this be a recorded grade?
Then every single grade they get is recorded.
Okie dokie.
So this going to bring down my JPD, JAP.
That's not
JP.
true. Because you get, I think you get 22 out of 25. I think so. Most of you couldn't see the grade. When you did the test, you could not see the answer, correct?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Yes, because I do it like that because what I realize is that students do it together, and anyway, I leave that alone.
Sir, not this class.
Every student, because I'm studying at doing a course right now with adults, and they do the same thing. Everybody sit down and do the test together. Every single, not everybody, you know, some students not doing it, but it is very prevalent, including this class. Correct, Collins?
Sir, I can't speak for the whole class, but I don't do that, sir.
You don't do that. You are the
As you
good
know, I'm a
student.
very honest student. I'm wrong and strong.
Wrong and
Agree,
strong.
sir. Good. Yes, sir. We all are very good students, and we will never do that to you, sir.
All
No
right.
shame, no game.
All right. It's good to know. It is good to know. But I know students do it. All right, ladies. So today we're going to start to look at the long-term causes, and we're going to continue the causes on Monday. We meet on Monday? No. Yes, we meet on Monday. So on Monday, we're going to do we're going to start today the long-term causes. I believe we're going to finish. Then to Monday, we're going to continue. Depends on how far we reach when it comes to the long term. And on Tuesday, you're going to get another activity like this. So for the 2 sessions. So I want to see if you're reading. No, what I wanted to read for this, where it is here. Take this out. Your textbook. What are we going to look at today?
Sir, we didn't go through the short-term causes. You had just told us to read about it. Is it that was just our individual study and we're not going to go through it?
Yeah, man, we're going through the short-term causes, but not today.
Okay.
We are doing the long-term causes first, and then we do the short-term after. Where it is. Ladies, you don't see the Google Classroom not showing up.
No, sir. We just Google.
It's a sign, sir.
Is a sign? Sign say
A
what?
sign for what?
So we end class?
Yes.
Is who wants to end? Who wants to end class? Is that Eccleston? Who just said that they wanted to end class? Eccleston?
Sir, it wasn't Najala.
Is who? Marshall?
It was not me, but I could understand if somebody did want to end class.
Repeat?
Don't reach anywhere in the syllabus to end class early.
I can understand why somebody would end class because I personally have had nothing but back-to-back sessions, but it was not me who said it.
Okay.
Akima, it's 11:40. Your brain tired already?
Yeah, I've had nothing but back-to-back session classes. I'm gonna have more of them.
Well, it's part of school. You're almost finished. You have 1 year and then you do 3 years at university. What you want to study?
I think I want to study psychology.
So that means you have 3 years. 3 years
I
of
think so.
so you have 4 more years of school this year and 3 more years. You can do a master's after a PhD. The further you go, the more money you make. All right, ladies, I will just go and not
Sir, it
give.
still isn't working.
It's still not working, but
Sir,
I'll just.
is what you're
Sir,
trying.
close Google and open it up.
Sir, is that slide you're trying to get?
Yeah.
Sir, is it
But
one that you sent us in the classroom?
yes, I'm going to. I find it on my desktop, so I'm going to use share from my desktop.
Okay, sir.
Sir, if it doesn't work out, you can just ask a student to share. Oh, Suter.
All right, good. Thank you very much. Sometimes Satan wants to stop our showing, but we're not going to allow him to win. Not going to allow. From this school year start is a lot of problems I have with the computer. One of my Caribbean studies classes, all I was trying to start up Zoom. Could it start? Boy, may I tell you? All right, ladies, let us get into it. Today we're going to start again. So we look at war generally, which is last week. Today we're going to start the long-term causes of the First World War. And we're starting there today, the First World War. And so there are several long-term causes. So historians divided wars, causes of wars, into both long-term causes and short-term causes, right? It is important for you as the student, right? Very, very important for you as the student to know the long-term causes. The long-term causes tend to be very general. The short-term causes tend to be very specific. What were the immediate things that happened that led to the war? All right. So let us look at some of the long-term causes. And we have MARE as an acronym. You can use MARE as an acronym, which is militarism, alliances and treaties, imperial rivalry, rivalry over trade and market. So when you're doing your essay for CAPE, if they ask you to discuss the causes, if they ask you to discuss the causes of the First World War, right? That could be an essay question. You discuss the causes of the First World War, then I'm expecting you need 6 points. I'm expecting you to discuss, you can either write it from looking at the long-term, short-term causes or the long-term causes, or you combine both the long-term and the short-term when you're writing your essays. Is that clear, ladies?
Yes, sir. I also saw the acronym MAIN, which is
Yes.
militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism.
Yes, that is also correct. You have several different acronyms, but I'm following this textbook here because this is from a A-level perspective. Now, the first reason for The First World War, a long-term cause. Shanae, you're with me?
Yes, sir.
So the first one, Shanae, is rivalry over trade. Rivalry over trade. Shanae, what I mean by rivalry over trade? What do I mean by rivalry over trade? That was the first cause, long-term cause. Rivalry over trade. When you hear the word rivalry, Shani, what comes to mind?
War, disagreement.
War, disagreement. Yes, excellent, excellent. Yes. Collins, rivalry. What usually causes rivalry?
As Shanae said, disagreements.
Disagreement, yes. But what usually causes it? Disagreement, but there's something deeper when it comes to disagreement. Eccleston, who is your best friend?
My best friend.
Yes.
Oh, Rochelle, sir, from Cuba.
So Rocher is your best friend. So is there anytime you have any rivalry between you and Rocher?
No.
No? You have anybody that you have rivalry with?
No, sir.
No, sir, your life too good.
I have rivalry with everybody.
What? Me?
Collins?
I don't rivalry with nobody.
Collins?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sasha K still friends?
No, sir. I joke, sir. I joke. Yes, she's still my best friend.
You're still your best friend. Rivalry. Is there any time you have any rivalry between both of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, rivalry is something that happens every single day.
It's natural. You're supposed to have rivalry for a balanced friendship. Right,
Yes.
sir?
Davis?
Yes, sir.
Davis, why I feel like you're watching TV?
I'm not.
Sir,
All
she
right.
watching TikToks.
I'm not, really. I'm not.
Davis, rivalry. When you hear rivalry over trade, what comes to mind? Who is fighting over trade?
Over trade.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the US and somebody else.
The US and somebody else. Boy, I don't always give US bad
Sir.
news. Go ahead.
I think it was like the more developed countries like Britain and Germany and those places, they were arguing over the fact that I think their rivalry stemmed from they thought that like the trade or like the resources that the other countries were getting weren't shared equally. Like I think they wanted more trade with other countries and that created rivalry.
All right. Good. Sounds good. All right. Very good. Very good. Now, rivalry over trade. Countries in the world, as you rightly said, Collins, developed countries, European countries. Remember, now we are dealing with Europe. The war started in Europe. It's between European countries, right? And it's going to spread across the world. So, rivalry. They are now going to fight over trade. What do we mean by trade? Trade has to do with resources. Name some resources in the world that you think people fight over. Oil. What else?
Food.
Food. Very good. What else?
Clothing,
Ecclesia?
like silk and those stuff were traded back then.
Yes.
Human
Let us show
resources.
you Africa. Let us show you a bit of Africa and show you some of the things that people fought over in the world. Land. Land was a major thing people, European countries fought over. You just finished Unit 1 history. Land was a major thing. They fought over lands in Africa, lands in the Caribbean, land in North America. So they land because land gave them wealth where they can produce the land. And you're going to go places where there's a lot of natural resources, diamonds, right? Diamonds. What are some other things we see right here? Natural resources that people are going to find.
Gold,
Gold. What else?
Oil.
electricity related,
Yes. What else?
electronics,
Cotton.
tea, coffee, livestock,
Very good. Cocoa beans. What do you think they're going to use the cocoa beans to make?
make
Chocolate.
chocolate,
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Very good. All the Snickers, you know, most of the chocolate that you eat, the Snickers and all of these different stuff is Africa. Cocoa it comes from.
I
What
thought it was
about cotton?
Grenada.
No, man. Most of it come from Africa. What about cotton? What they going to use cotton for?
make
Clothing.
clothes,
To make
Clothes.
clothes,
clothing. Very good. Now, ladies, Marxist historians saw war as an inevitable consequence of the final phase of capitalism. Right? That's what Vladimir Lenin states. Now, rivalry over trade, right, throughout the 19th century, Britain, France, Germany, USA, parts of the Austrian Empire, later Italy and Russia, they experienced considerably growth in their industry. So all of these territories that I'm telling you about, let us see for here, Britain, France, Italy, Austria-Hungary, which is all of these areas, Austria-Hungary, Germany, right? Russia, all of these territories here experience growth in industry. They were growing. And so there was always need for things like raw material, right? And that is going to cause problem. So, where am I now? So one, because these economies are growing, we're leaving out USA for now. We know USA was growing during this period, you know, but we're not focusing on the USA. The USA is in the Americas dealing with their issues there. We're focusing on Britain, France, Germany, Austria, Hungary, Italy, and Russia. Those are the territories we're focusing on. So their industry are growing during the 19th century. And because they are growing, they are going to need access to raw material, especially Britain. Britain was very big in the textile industry where they are making clothing and all of these different stuff. So they're always going to need raw material. Other territories going to need other things, right? And not only that, ladies, that they want raw material to turn into finished products, but also once you finish make the clothes, you're going to need somebody to what? Shanae, after you finish make your clothes, what you're going to do?
Have somebody to buy it.
Buy it. So you're going to need new market to sell your goods. So you see, that's one of the reasons why they were interested in lands and colonizing other places, because one, if I colonize parts of South Africa, or if I colonize Central America, or if I colonize the Caribbean, then guess what? When I produce my products, I can have a large market to buy it. And if I have a large market to buy it and I'm selling these to these territories, that means, guess what? I am going to be wealthy. So one, during the 19th century, all these territories were being industrialized. They were growing. They had a lot of factories growing. They are producing goods. They are getting the raw material from their colonies. So the Caribbean is sending a lot of raw material to Britain and to France. Germany is trying to have relationship with people in Haiti to get raw material there. And so, yeah, so they need market, they need raw material. And if every country is experiencing growth, then you are going to have competition. Eccleston, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
And if it is clear, explain for me. Explain rivalry over trade, the first part. What led to competition, economic competition?
Sir, oh boy. Okay. So, what led to economic competition? The need for a market to sell the goods. They have access to all this raw material. After them process the raw material to make the goods, whatever they need markets to sell the goods to. So, and all the countries are all the countries are gaining access to these raw materials and producing all these goods. So it's going to form competition with all them searching for markets to sell their goods to.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Somebody called from my wife. Go ahead for me. Repeat for me. Repeat. Eccleston.
Oh man. Okay, so I said
Yeah.
so rivalry over trade, all these countries were gaining access to raw material, and when you process these raw materials, you need goods. So after you make goods, so when you make these goods now, you need somebody to sell the goods to. So with all these countries gaining all the access to raw material and all these countries producing these goods, they're all searching for a market to sell what they have produced to. So it's going to create economic competition. Hence there is rivalry over trade.
All right. Sounds like you're getting there. But you feel like every country had access to raw material, Marshall?
No, sir.
Not everybody had access to raw material. And that's why you have competition, because people going to want access. And they're going to fight over lands and different territories to gain access to raw materials. But very good try, very good try. And not only that, they want raw material. Shanae, you're with me? Shanae, disappear. Savannah? Savannah? Wait, you're actually hearing me, students?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, look like Savannah drop asleep.
Sir, maybe
So,
she went to the bathroom.
all right. So, if industrialization, they are fighting over raw material, they are fighting over new markets to sell their goods, and so there is competition. So to protect their
Sir, today's a
industry,
double session.
repeat?
This is a double session.
Yes, it is.
Oh my. Okay.
My goodness, you know, sound as if you know out of it already. See, I tell me, say, sir, so
No,
boring.
sir. I'm not out of it. You know, I can never be out of history. But I just never mentally prepared for 2 hours. But it's
Well,
okay.
all our sessions are double sessions.
Oh, I didn't realize.
All right. So, rivalry over trade. So to protect their industry, many countries introduce tariff barriers. So they are going to implement taxes to prevent other countries from entering their markets. So they implement something what they call protectionism. But although they were implementing taxes, Britain was saying, no, I don't really into this tariff business. I believe we should have free trade. Why do you believe that Britain supported free trade? Is it that they had an advantage? Louis?
Yes, I think
What?
that Britain had an advantage when it came to trade.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, everybody hearing our feedback, or is it just me?
Just you.
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't hear the feedback.
oh, okay. I have to try and fix that after. But for Britain, I think that they had an advantage. Because I would say it's because so would it have to be with? I'm pretty sure we went over this. We talked about this trade in grade 12 with Britain. But yes, I feel
But
like they
think
were.
about 1 second, ladies, because you must think about it. Listen now, right? They're fighting over land. Britain, France, Germany, Austria, Hungary, we include US later. Italy, Russia, lands. They want access to raw material. They want new markets, right? And territories like Germany and Austria, Hungary, and Russia, they would want to implement tariff or allow tariff to be there. Why you think that Britain wanted free trade? What advantage did Britain have over all the other territories? Go ahead, Fami Collins.
Sir, I think I'm not sure if I'm right, but is it because Britain, okay, in having free trade, that would attract these countries who are producing the goods that we were talking about, like oil, cocoa, cotton, it would attract them to want to trade with Britain over the countries such as Germany and France, who had like taxes on trade.
You think that's it?
Yes.
All right. But I still not getting the answer. Why you believe that Britain had an advantage over everyone else? Marshall.
Would it be because probably at the time they owned a lot of colonies?
That is the answer. That is the answer. They had an advantage because they controlled quite a lot of colonies. They had colonies all over. Let I give you an example of places that Britain would have controlled. I'm coming, I'm showing you a map.
Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sir, while you look for the thing to tell us, sir, can you just go back to slide 5, please? The one that talks about the tariff barriers and custom duties. Thank you so much, sir.
So look at this one, ladies. All right, let us just look at all of these areas that Britain would have controlled. So Britain would have controlled at this time Canada. This was Little Britain right here. All of this empire right here. Australia, New Zealand, South Africa comes straight up to Egypt, Iraq and Palestine, all of these areas, Nigeria, parts of the Gold Coast, here, British Honduras, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, most of the islands in the Caribbean. So Britain would have controlled quite a lot of these areas, and therefore, for them, free trade worked for them. Because if they had all of these areas, that means that Britain, that's why they were the most powerful country in the world at the time, Britain had access to raw material, and they also had a very large market to sell their goods. And so they wanted free trade. Because if they had free trade, that means when they get their raw material from British Guyana, from Jamaica, from British Honduras, from Canada, from India, from Australia, from Africa, Britain is getting raw materials from all these places. And if they're getting all these raw materials and they ship those raw materials to Great Britain, and they are now going to turn them into different products, and they are going to sell them back to the Caribbean and Canada and all of these different places, they are going to have an oversupply. right? A surplus, I should say. And you're going to want to sell those to places like the US, even to France, even to Russia, Spain, even to Germany. They are going to want to sell those products too. So they completely wanted free trade. Now let us look some at examples of protectionism in the
Sir,
world.
before
Repeat.
you continue, Savannah's mic isn't working, so that's why she wasn't responding.
All right. Sorry about that, Savannah. Let
Also,
us look at.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You were saying that the British wanted free trade in order to sell to Germany?
No, they wanted free trade. Yes, in order to sell to all the other territories that were not British.
Okay, no problem.
I'm going to look at this chart. So this chart was 1877. Notice all goods coming into Britain from all over the world, cotton and other goods. They paid any duties, any tax?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
But what about, so this is Britain, right? So if people send in goods from French colony of France, cotton and goods to Britain, they don't have to pay any tax. It was free. What about Germany? If you're sending cotton and goods to Germany, would you have to pay tax?
Yes, sir.
How much percent?
4 to 11.
4 to 11%. What about Belgium?
4 to
Yes,
9.
sir.
What about Holland?
No tax.
No tax. What about Sweden?
8 to 13%.
Look at Russia.
Wow, 23 to 38. Why is that so high, sir?
Yeah, why is it so expensive?
No, this is it now, ladies. And that's one of the reasons why Britain advocated for free trade. Did France had colonies?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
But did they had a lot of colonies?
No, sir.
They had a small number of colonies. Germany, did Germany had any colony at all? Any colony in the Caribbean?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Germany was last when it comes to colony. I believe they only had one colony in Africa. But at this time in 1877, they did not have a colony. Belgium. Belgium didn't colonize anywhere in the world. Holland had a few colonies. We studied about them. Holland is the Dutch. They had a few, but not a lot. Sweden. And what about Russia? Russia had any colony in the world?
No, sir.
No. So if we look at this, ladies, free trade benefited Britain because Britain had a large market and she had the raw material coming from her colony. France had little or no colony. Germany had none at all. Russia, zero. And therefore, by putting in tariff on countries like Britain and all other countries like Germany, Belgium, Sweden, and Russia, by them putting on tariff on goods, cotton and goods coming, is to protect their industry. So if I am making clothes in Russia, Any British clothing coming in have to pay 23 to 38% tax. So British clothes would be very expensive, and my clothes in Russia is going to be very cheap. Louis, you're following?
Yes, sir.
Williams?
Yes, sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir, I'm sure.
Davis?
Yes, sir.
Davis, like how you're sure, explain to me now why Britain supported free trade.
I don't remember.
Are you just a mere sure?
Yeah, I have to read it over and over and over, sir.
McCoy, you want to help her?
The reason why Britain supported free trade is they had an advantage over the other countries because they had a lot of colonies. So they had a larger market and they could get the raw materials from their colonies.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent, McCoy. All right.
Wait, McCoy, can you repeat what you just said?
The reason Britain supported free trade is they had a lot of colonies, so they had a larger market and also could get raw materials from their colonies.
Okie dokie.
All right. Now, ladies, rivalry over trade will continue. Evidence number one, because we can't go into the exam and we can't tell the examiners that one of the reasons or one of the causes for the First World War was rivalry over trade. You need to provide evidence. Evidence. All right? What was the evidence? Evidence number one. Somebody read from here for me in 1904.
In 1904, Japan and Russia clashed over the resources-rich area of Manchuria. Manchuria was a name first used in the 17th century by Chinese people to refer to a large geographic region in Northeast Asia. The Russo-Japanese War was fought between the Russian Empire and the Empire of Japan over rival imperial ambitions in Manchuria and Korea.
Very good. So Manchuria, right here is Manchuria. And Russia wanted Manchuria. No, Manchuria is beside China, Russia, Korea, Japan, and everybody. Japan wanted Manchuria, China wanted Manchuria, Russia wanted Manchuria, Korea wanted Manchuria. In fact, Manchuria was actually part of China. And if you notice the territories that are fighting for land in resource-rich area, because Manchuria had almost a lot of different resources. So the first evidence that we have, ladies, where there was war over anything, resources, fighting for raw resources, raw material, was the Rugo-Japanese war between Japan and Russia in 1904. They are fighting Japan here, Russia here, and they are fighting over Manchuria right here, which was part of China. But because China was so weak, China could not defend her geographic space. Another example of war taking place where people fighting over land to get raw material and to get market was a scramble for Africa in Europe in between 1870 and 1914. European countries divided Africa among themselves. Why they were interested in Africa? Look at Africa. Africa had millions, not millions, billions of people, and they had a lot of raw materials. And if they can get all of these raw materials, petroleum, natural gas, crude oil, gold, diamond. Yes, most of the gold and diamond you wear today is from Africa. Cocoa beans, fish, iron core, right? So food, drinks, metal, wood products, textile, machines, electronics, all of these raw materials Africa had. And so European countries are going to go into Africa. See them? Belgium never had a colony. France had colony in the Caribbean. Spain had colony in the Caribbean. Portugal had colony in the Caribbean. Britain had colony in the Caribbean. Dutch had colony in the Caribbean. But Belgium didn't have a colony. Russia did not have a colony in the Caribbean. Germany did not have a colony in the Caribbean. And so what we have here, ladies, is that European countries decide that they are going to go into Africa to get raw material to build their empire and also to secure a market. Italy did not even have a colony too. So the first evidence we have that there was rivalry over trade. You're going to the exam, you must tell them that one of the causes of the First World War was rivalry over trade. You explain rivalry over trade. The first evidence of rivalry over trade was the war in Marshall. The first evidence was
The Russo-Japanese War over Manchuria,
why they were interested in Manchuria.
because Manchuria had a lot of raw materials that they could use to build the empires.
Very good, excellent. Davis, the second one is evidence. Rivalry over trade was Davis.
Yes, sir.
Listen to me now, Davis, and listen to me very good. I am expecting you to participate in the class, and I'm expecting you to pay attention. And don't tell me that you're going to read over anything, because if you're going to read over anything, it makes no sense for me to be here talking. I can just send you to go and read, and you just answer the question. And you would be the same one to go and make complaint to say that Mr. Hall is not explaining the material. I don't play those ways, ladies. I am expecting you to participate. Don't let me waste my time. I have better things to do. Now, Davis, what is the second evidence that we have looked at?
Is this another war where they were fighting over raw materials?
Williams,
Yes, sir. What's the
what was
question?
the second example evidence that we have of rivalry over trade?
Right. Okay. Rivalry that we have over trade.
Mm-hmm.
Rivalry over trade for enough reasons. I think people just love conflict.
The first example that we have
Yes, sir.
that there was rivalry over trade was in Father God give me strength. Williams,
Yes, sir.
we would have established
Right.
that there was rivalry over trade.
Right.
And what we're doing is that we're looking at rivalry over trade as a cause for the First World War. We would have looked at two examples where there were rivalry over trade. The first example was, what was the first example? Louis. Father God. Louis.
Yes, sir. It was giving me, you hearing me? I wasn't allowing me to unmute. Yes, sir.
Yes. What was the first example?
So the first example would be the war between Japan and the Russian Empire for what's it called? Manchuria, which was in China. Or was that it was yes. And they wanted it because it was full and rich with resources, not raw material that they could use to build their economy.
Very good. Excellent. What was the second one?
The second one was the fight for Africa, because again, Africa was also rich with resources that the European countries felt like they could use. So it was basically a scramble for Africa to see, who could get Africa to use the resources to again better their economy.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Williams, back to you.
Yes, sir.
Rivalry over trade. Explain rivalry over trade for me.
Okay, sir. So, okay, everybody trading is like a big thing for all of the major people, all of the big countries, first world countries you call them. And so they're very competitive about who has what, who can have what to trade. And so they are competing to have the best things to trade. So I guess like in the examples that we use like right now for like Africa, the rivalry would be that everybody wants a piece of Africa. Africa have everything. They have people, they have resources. So who can get it first? Yeah.
And when we talk about rivalry, give me another synonym for rivalry.
You could say conflict
Or
or
war.
war, right.
So, ladies, we would have looked at two examples of rivalry. Evidence, the Japan and Russia, 1904, and also the scramble for Africa between 1880 or 1870 and 1914. All right? another example of rivalry was that Ukraine was also an area in Russia that had a lot of raw material, and Germany wanted to take over Ukraine. So that's our third example. And then France and Germany had conflict over Alsace-Lorraine. Now, Alsace-Lorraine is this piece of land right here between Germany and France. This piece of land here had a lot of raw materials too, right? A lot of raw resources. It was a very fertile piece of land. And it was originally part of France. Originally part of France. And Germany is going to fight France over Alsace-Lorraine, this area, and they are going to take over Alsace-Lorraine. So that is our fourth example of rivalry, where we see European countries fighting over land, resources, markets, not only in Europe, but also in Africa and other parts of the world. So let us look now. I want somebody to read this for me, please. Oh, Father.
I'll read, sir.
Go ahead.
Germany wanted to take over Ukraine in Russia. France and Germany had conflict over Alsace-Lorraine. This area did not have natural resources that were valuable to France. The border of provinces Alsace-Lorraine in France contained mostly German speakers. When France was defeated in a war against the German state in 1871, the German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck absorbed the provinces into the German hands. France never accepted this, and it became a major cause of anti-German feeling in the lead up to the World War I.
All right. So we see where rivalry is going to cause problems.
Excuse
So
me, sir.
Go ahead for me, Louis.
Sir, sir, quick question. Sir, this is still on the trade and rivalry?
Still
Trade
under
and-
trade and
All right.
rivalry.
Okay, quick question. Sir, when I was doing my reading before class,
Mhm.
it had said that you have imperial rivalry as well, but it had put this example under imperial rivalry. The evidence are with Alsace-Lorraine.
Yes,
So-
you can use that one.
Okay, sir.
You can use it. The thing is that why we have rivalry over trade is that the reason why they wanted Alsace-Lorraine was because it had a lot of natural resources. All right? But at the end of the day, it's how you use your points. Because for the essay, if you're writing an essay and you're talking about rivalry over trade, you could use 1904 Japan-Russia war over Manchuria. And also you can use the scramble for Africa. And maybe you can use Germany wanted to take over Ukraine, right? Because these are all examples where European countries are fighting over raw material and market. Now, another example is Britain wanted control over South Africa, right? So Britain and Germany, they are going to fight over South Africa between 1899 and 1902. So all of this area down here, South Africa, was originally controlled by the German. Well, we can't say original control. The Africans were there. The German went in first, then the British. They had a big war over the area. And after the war, the British won. So we are seeing where and why they were, what they were fighting over in South Africa: gold, diamond, and market for their goods. Germany and France. That's Germany and Britain, I should say. There's a lot of war in Africa between European countries over different parts of Africa because they are scrambling. They are running to take over Africa. McCoy, am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Eccleston?
Hello, sir.
Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Marshall, you want to explain the point for me? Rivalry over trade?
The entire point or the point between Britain and Germany?
The entire point. Summarize it like you're writing an essay.
I could try. So rivalry over trade has to do with the want of raw materials. And once you get those raw materials, even though everybody won't be able to, you're going to make goods. And eventually with these goods, you're going to want to find markets. And this is where economic competitiveness comes in, because Britain has a majority of the lands in the area, so they have a better market. So when the Balkans wanted to start putting in like tariffs, it sort of like started causing a bit of confliction there because they want to do free trade, but other people wanted to put tax on like having things shipped over. So then it started a lot of rivalry, as you can see, because we have examples of people fighting over valuable resources, if I'm making any sense. So
you're making a lot of sense. Don't think that you're making a lot of sense.
So like, for example, with the Russo-Japanese War, Japan and Russia were fighting over Manchuria because it had a lot of valuable resources, but China was not strong enough to fend them off. So eventually, I think, I don't see.
Russia won.
Yeah, Russia won. I didn't get to finish writing that point. So Russia won that area, and that would probably sow a seed of discontent in the Japanese, because I think Japan was controlling a lot of that land in the area in the first place. And another example would be the scramble for Africa by a lot of European nations, because Africa has a wealth of resources that are not just limited to oil. They have gold, diamond, coffee beans, cotton, all the works that you would need to get your industry up and running. So it was very important to control at least a good majority of Africa if you wanted to be the main superpower in control of your industry and trade.
Good. Give me another point. Explain the one about Alsace-Lorraine.
Okay. The conflict between Alsace-Lorraine now was between France and Germany. And this area was a little bit further from France, like on the edge. And it had, even though it was mainly German speakers, the French really still considered that land as theirs. So when Germany started coming in saying that they wanted it for themselves, that caused a major point of contention. So they went to war. And then when they went to war, France did not win. So it sowed a seed of dislike towards Germans and all German things. So eventually, in the lead up to the war, if you have people not liking the Germans, they're not going to want to side with the Germans.
Perfecto. Perfect. Excellent. Thank you very much, Marshall.
Yes, sir.
God bless your soul. Now, Louis, explain the point about South Africa. Which two territories fighting over South Africa?
They're Britain and Germany.
All right. Why they wanted South Africa?
They wanted to control South Africa because they had a lot of precious resources such as gold and diamonds. And so both countries wanted to be in control of those resources to better their economy. And so they went to war over South Africa. And it said that it's called the Boer War, and it lasted 1899 to 1902, and that was the war just for South Africa.
Perfecto. So, ladies,
Sir, what two countries was it?
remind her for me, Louis.
Britain and Germany.
Oh, okay.
Now, ladies, when you're writing your essay, and if I should ask you an exam question or even any essay question at all, and I ask you to explain the causes of the First World War, and if you're going to use the point rivalry over trade and market, you could argue and you said one of the causes of the First World War was European countries had rivalry over trade and market. And you explain and you give the examples. You see how much examples you have here? You have about 5 to 6 examples. Write the example, show the examiner that you know what you know. Don't pick and choose. Write. All right? Now, from everything, ladies, it is safe to argue that rivalry over trade and market led to the First World War. Because if we look at those who are in the different alliances, we come into alliances, Russia, France, Britain, they are together. Germany, Italy, Austria, Hungary. Now, before the World War happened, before they started to fight physically, Germany and France had problem over Alsace-Lorraine. Britain and Germany had Britain and Germany had war over which area?
South Africa.
South Africa. Very good. Japan and Russia also had war over, what they call that area again? Manchuria.
Manchuria.
You see how everything line up? Do you see how the alliances are coming? Because if France is giving Germany, if Germany is giving France problem, and Germany now go to South Africa and cause problem with Britain, then it is clear that Germany, that France and Britain have a common enemy, and their common enemy is Germany. So they will team up against Germany. And then Germany wanted Ukraine, which was part of Russia. And so all of these territories here, Russia, France, and Britain, all had a common enemy, and that common enemy was Germany, creating problem left, right, and center. Now, ladies, what I'm going to encourage you to do. So we finish one of the points today. I'm not going to stress it. We look at rivalry over trade and market. When we return on Monday, we will see if we can cover militarism, nationalism, alliances, and treaties on Monday as long-term causes. I'm not going to push it. I have given you enough evidence. to write, because this exam is a writing exam. It is an essay exam. You need to know how to write. You need to have your points and you need your evidence to support your point. So what I want you to do for the next 15 minutes in your notebooks, go through, this PowerPoint is already there. Go through your notebooks. Go through the PowerPoint. Read the textbook. Develop that point in your own words. I am not going to ask you to develop it, to come and read it. I'm not going to look at it. I am telling you that that's what you're supposed to do. And I trust that you will go and do it, because guess what? You will see it again in the exam. So please, ladies, rivalry over trade and market. Develop that point. We have the point already. Explain it, support it with your evidence. That sounds fair, Eccleston?
Very fair, sir.
McCoy?
Yes, sir.
Clark?
Yes, sir.
Williams?
Yes, sir.
Davis?
Yes, sir.
Lewis?
Yes, sir.
Very good. And I know Marshall has it because she already explained it to me already. So ladies, we look at one long-term cause, just one. I want to see if we can finish the others next week, Monday. But we have looked at one thus far. One. Ladies, at this level, you're supposed to come into the classroom to challenge me. So if I make a point, you should come in and debate and say to me, sir, that is not, I don't agree with that. You're at the pre-university level. You're not supposed to come in here and sit down and I'm the one who is talking. I know school just started, but I'm expecting you to write at a certain level and I'm expecting you to discuss. Have a discussion in the class. Read before you come to class. Show me that you read. When I ask a question, it must reveal from the question that you have read. You have the textbooks. I've sourced the textbook for you. You don't have to read it. I find the easiest textbooks on these topics. So ladies, I'm encouraging you. Read. You cannot be doing Cape history and you're not reading. You need to read. I gave you an activity to do and most of you did not read for that activity. You got 2 hours to do it. And most of you did not read. Most. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, we did one of the points. Go in your textbook. The PowerPoint is already there. I'm going to post the recording. And I want you to develop rivalry over trade and market. And so when we return next week, we are going to look at militarism, nationalism, and also alliances and treaties. All right, ladies, enjoy the rest of the day.
Take care, sir. Okay.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.